In this lesson, we're going to talk about chords. I'll talk about how they're constructed and where they come from and how they relate to a scale. I don't know about you, but when I first learned chords, I just memorized chord forms on my guitar. I had no idea where they came from or how I could manipulate them. But when I came to understand chord theory, it opened up a whole world for me. And I not only was able to memorize chord forms, which is very valuable, but also was able to find chord forms on the guitar very easily or relate one chord form to another because I understand the construction. We're going to start off taking a look at that C major scale again. I've written it down here, and you'll notice we have the exact same notes, and they're a whole step apart, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, and then start over again in the half step between the B and the C. Now, first of all, I want to number each of the degrees in the scale. I've numbered them 1 through 7 and start 1 again because it's the same as the beginning note. There's only 7 individual different notes. The idea is if you take every other note and stack them one on top of the other, you're going to have a chord. A chord consists of at least 3 notes played one note at a time. When you go from one note to another, that's called an interval. When you play 3 notes together, that's called a chord. So let's say we took the 1 note, the C, the 3 note, the E, and the 5 note, the G, and played them together. And I've written that down here. The C, the E, and the G. As a matter of fact, I could number them 1, 3, and 5, like that. That makes a C chord. And the sound that you hear is actually constructed by the distance between the notes, the intervals. So let's take a look at it. From C to E, we know from C to D is 1 whole step. From D to E is another whole step. That's 2 whole steps from C to E. So from here to here, that would be 2 whole steps. And from E to G, let's see, from E to F is a half step. From F to G is another whole step. From E to G will be 1.5 steps, a half and a whole added together. So I can write here from E to G 1.5. Something like that. Now, if you look at this all together, we can add them up. That's 3.5 steps. We're going to give names to these intervals. Interval of 2 steps, we're now going to call a major third. The capital M stands for major. It gives us an easier way to kind of discuss it than just keep saying whole steps, 3 whole steps, so on. 1.5 steps is going to be called now a minor third. That's the baby M, and that's a common terminology. Now we can say when we have a major third interval from C to E, that's 2 steps or a major third, and we put a minor third interval on top of it from E to G, 1.5 steps or the minor third, we have a major chord. You could say that's a formula for a major chord. Just like you can say whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step is a formula for a major scale. Now let's look at a minor scale. We're going to make another chord starting on D. So you can go from D to F, and then from F to A, and you'll have a chord. I've written it here, D, F, A. From D to F, D to E is a whole step. From E to F is a half step. That's 1.5 steps. Okay? Now from F to A, let's try it. F to G is a whole step, and G to A, another whole step. That's 2 whole steps, or what we call a major third. So we have a minor third, 1.5 steps, underneath a major third. That's the formula for a minor chord. So this is a major, and this is a minor. Yeah, we'll do it like that. The formula for a minor is a minor third interval with a major third interval on top of it. This is called D minor, and this is called C major. Now, I've written underneath each of the scale degrees, if you did that for every scale, this is the chord that would come out. If you do it with C, we already know it's a major chord. We do it with D, it's a minor. And if you go on, with E, it would be a minor, F would be a major, G would be a major, A would be a minor, B would be a diminished, and then finally you start over again with C, another major chord. Next, I want to apply this to the guitar and show you how this formula applies to chords that you probably already know. Let's take a look at some chords on the guitar neck and see how the formula applies. So we'll start off with a C major. This is a typical C major chord. And we're looking for 3 notes. It's a C major, so it's going to be a C, E, G. It's going to be from the C to the E, that's 1 major third or 2 whole steps, and from the E to the G, a minor third, and that makes a major sound. Now let's take a look at this chord and see if that actually applies. So this is a C note. This is an E note right here. This is open G. So we've got the C, E, G, and then another E. Yes, it works. It's a C major chord using C, E, and G. Now, when you make chords, first of all, you can have duplicates of the notes. A C major chord isn't going to have any additional notes in it if it's just called C major, but it could have duplicates of the chords. It could have several E's or several G's. It could have 10 notes. Well, not on the guitar, maybe on the piano. It could have 6 notes on the guitar, but there'll be duplicates of notes. So in this case, there's a duplicate of that C note. Let's try another chord. How about the D minor? Here's a D minor chord form. This is just one way to finger a D minor. So it only has those notes, the D, F, and A. That's what I'm looking for, D, F, A. From the D to the F was that minor third, and then from the F to the A was the major third. So D, open D string, that's an A note. 2nd fret, 3rd finger, a pinky rather, is the D, another D note, a duplicate. And on the high string, the 1st fret, that's the F note. So I've got open D, A, D, F. That's a D minor chord, and it has a minor sound to it. Let's try one more. I'm going to go for an A minor chord. How about this? Here's an A minor chord form that I know. Let's see if it applies. We need an A, C, E. A, B, C is the 3rd, and C, D, E is the 5th. I call that middle note a 3rd, and the final note a 5th of the chord, because it's 1, skip a B, 2, we skip 2, 3, then skip 1, and 5. So 1, 3, 5. That's open A. We need a C. Now we got another E there. A, E, A, 2 A's. There's the C. And then finally another E. A, C, E, it's all there. So you can see every chord that you play actually fits this model if it's a major or minor. And there are other chords. It's really helpful to understand the basic major and minor idea before going on to others. But all other chords are basically built on the same idea. And once you understand the majors and minors, it's a solid foundation to understanding other chords, even very elaborate chords with all those flat 5s and sharp 7s and all those kinds of things you might have seen already. I'm Thomas Michaud. Wherever you are, scroll down, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. I put a link to the next video in this series of Music Theory for Beginners. Go ahead and click on that now, and I'll see you over there.